The New York Jets head south to face division rival Miami on Sunday. The Dolphins a 6-point favorite on BETDAQ, 42 the total in this game. These teams met just less than a month ago back in Week 13, and it was closer than a lot of people thought it was going to be. Dolphins eked out a 16-13 win. At that time, the Dolphins were vying for a spot in the playoffs. The Jets, meanwhile, had hit rock bottom. They were coming off a 38-3 loss to the Buffalo Bills. Since then, though, since that Week 13 Dolphins-Jets game, New York has showed some definite signs of life. They followed that performance up by losing in overtime to Minnesota. Then they beat the Tennessee Titans. And last week they lost by just 1 point to the New England Patriots, the AFC's best team. So a lot of people taking a long, hard look at the Jets in this spot as a 6-point road underdog in Miami. The Dolphins, after all, have been headed in the other direction. 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games. And their defense, which had been so good all season, has really collapsed here in December. They've surrendered 104 combined points in their last 3 games. Fortunately, though, they're facing a New York offense that has been horrible this season. The Jets averaging just 16.4 points per game. Very one-dimensional on that side of the ball. They can run it, but that's about all they can do. They're led by Geno Smith at quarterback after we saw Michael Vick for a few weeks in the middle of the season. Smith, the second most turnovers in the NFL since the beginning of last year, and he would be leading the league in that stat had he not been benched earlier this year. So, listen, do you have any faith in Geno Smith and the New York offense on the road in this spot? I mean, Miami is better in the secondary than they are against the run, so maybe the Jets are going to be able to just line up and run it right over the Miami defense. I have my doubts, though. Listen, Miami's played very good defense all season. We mentioned over 100 combined points allowed in their last 3 games. I don't think that's indicative of the type of defense this really is, and I think we're going to see that here. Week 17, final game of the season, at home against a division rival that cannot score. I think we're going to see a dominating performance from this Dolphins defense. Last week, the Dolphins looked like they could lose to the Minnesota Vikings, which would have been sort of a gut punch of a home loss. The Vikings, a rebuilding team with a rookie quarterback. But it was you wouldn't say miraculous situation to end the game, but certainly unusual situation to end the game. The Dolphins blocked a punt with less than a minute remaining for a safety to win 37-35. And afterwards, their owner, Stephen Ross, announced that he was retaining head coach Joe Philbin next season. Based on the comments we've heard from some Dolphins players, sounds like that was a very popular decision inside the locker room. So I think there might be some positivity surrounding this Dolphins team right now. And you look at the Jets, this is the last game with Rex Ryan as their head coach, probably the last game with John Idzik as their general manager, and probably about half the players on this New York roster will not be with the team next season. So if the Dolphins get off to a good start here, if they have a second half lead, can you trust the Jets to fight, to come back, especially since they can't throw the football? I do not have any faith in the Jets, and I know they've been playing pretty well here over the last couple of weeks, and I know I've been wrong about this Jets team over the past couple of weeks, including last week when New England minus 10.5 was one of my best bets, and New England almost lost the game outright. So, listen, maybe I'm underrating this Jets team like just about everybody else. When they lost 38-3 to Buffalo 5 weeks ago, I said, I am out here. But I tell you what, again, they've shown some definite signs of life over these past 4 games. I just don't trust them in this spot on the road against a division rival, Week 17. As a matter of fact, I think the Jets' recent success has given the Miami side some value here. That's the reason this line is only 6 and not 7, 7.5 or something like that. So, listen, I think Miami's going to win this game. I think they'll most likely cover the 6-point number. I also lean towards under 42 here.